Let us start with the question analysis of the whole paper. So every time you sit down for the exam, you start to flip over the question paper. The first thing you should do, note down all the respective timings for each question. The simplest inference question, normally 5 to 6 marks, just allocate maximum of 10 minutes and the rest would be 15 minutes. Why? I've said this before. So if you continue to do finish and you exceed the time limit, at most you can only gain 2 marks. But what happens next is you actually lose out the whole 7 marks or 8 marks even for the next few questions. So this is not worth it. Okay, so stick very closely to the suggested timing. So let's start with the issue. Okay, in this case, Whitley's paper is about the first time we are trying an overseas context. In this case, is Australia. Okay, the question is asking you, has the country been effective in managing discrimination? This is the topic, and this is the stand you can always go back to. So later on when you look at the other sources, you will just write at the side effective or ineffective. Okay, let's read the background information for context, which is always a common mistake. We will miss this out in our purpose questions. Okay, so let's see. 21st March is Australia's Harmony Day. It's a bit like our racial harmony day. Held every year, it is a celebration of the cultural diversity, a day of cultural respect for all who call Australia home. The celebration of Harmony Day began in 1999 and coincides with the UN International Day, blah blah blah. Okay, a lot has been organized. Australia has been in the news when it comes to relationships between races. On one hand, acts of discrimination, this has happened. Okay, so we have the first group, Aboriginals. They are actually people who exist in the land before the arrival of colonialists. So a short history of Australia. Um, it was actually made up by indigenous people, which means the local people. Okay, before the colonialists, in this case, it was the British who arrived and settled into the country. So a lot of people claim that actually the British robbed the indigenous people of their land. Okay, so this is one, and second group more recently is the Muslim, I believe, have given Australia an international reputation of being racist. This is the bad side. In addition, the discriminated have not taken it lying down, retaliating through protests and campaigns for their rights, escalating the situation. This is the ineffective part. On the other hand, Australia has been praised for being an example for the world in not giving in to racism or Islamophobia. What is Islamophobia? Dislike or prejudice against Islam or Muslims. Indeed, instead, Australians banded together to offer support, okay, for Muslims who were anxious about being attacked. So in this case, has Australia been effective? We have two sides, and this is probably our context. Okay, let's turn over to look at source A. Okay, the question asks, what does source A tell? This is the keyword you must use back about the management of discrimination. In this case, it's a general question. You should note later in your answer directly, is it effective or ineffective? Okay, so let's look at source A. So based on the provenance, the results of a survey commissioned by Australian TV network for the documentary entitled Is Australia Racist? So it's a TV network survey. Okay, so it's about general Australians. It is a good thing for society to be made up of different cultures, 80%. I'm prejudiced against other cultures. Majority no. Majority agree that it is good. Something should be done to minimize. Yes, action should be taken. I would stand up for someone who was being discriminated. Yes. So overall, if we look at the high percentage in this source, we would say Australia has been effective, right? So for question A, what does source A tells you? You should say it is effective. Okay, let's look at source B. The question says, why was this infographic published? So when you start answering, you should straight away say this is because the infographic was published to, and continue. Let's see. Okay, infographic was posted on the website of an Australian charity organisation, All Together Now. This will probably highlight that we should take action and that there is no harmony. Okay, dedicated to preventing racism in Australia. So this will tell us the target audience would be general public, or we can say Australians. Okay, so let's see racism in Australia in 2014 experiences. In 2014 it was 18% who experienced discrimination versus 12% in 2012. This shows that there is an increase in racism. Okay, so probably we can quote this figure later as evidence. So the other part says 7 in 10 reported experiencing discrimination. So 7 out of 10. And this constitutes 5%. So you can either quote this evidence or this evidence. Okay, so Australia is one of the most multicultural nations in the world. However, social cohesion is low and discrimination is high. This will be the key message for this source. Okay, so be sensitive to the keyword. Normally when they say something good, generally if they follow by something bad, this is what they are really trying to say. Okay, so we have looked at sources A and B. Let's look at source C. Okay, source C, the question asks, study sources C and D. How different are sources C and D? This is the keyword you have to use. Not disagree, but different. Okay, so how different is a general question, so you need one similarity, one difference. This is almost always the case. Okay, let's look at source C. Source C provenance says the experiences of an Australian Muslim. So maybe we can suspect it will be ineffective. Yeah, I forgot to write. For source B, it should be ineffective. Okay, so for source C, let's take a look. 2 weeks ago, Miss Mustafa was at a local supermarket doing her shopping when she was confronted by an angry man. The terrified woman sat in the car unable to move and rang her husband in tears to come and pick her up. I sat in the car, you my door, start abusing me verbally. It's a handful of people who are very narrow-minded. Put us in one basket or unfortunately fear of terrorism, people. My advice to them, please come and talk to us. We are very open people. Ask us and we can explain to you what it's all about. I believe in a peaceful approach. Okay, so this source mainly talks about two main things. Number one, there is a handful of people, very narrow-minded, and they actually started abusing her verbally. So this is about act of racism, but she goes on to emphasize that we can explain to you what it's all about. I believe in a peaceful approach. So maybe there is a positive side to this. Okay, source D is by the minister. Okay, wait. So source C is largely saying it is ineffective, but there can be some neutrality to the source because at the end it ends with a hopeful note. Okay, so source D is by a minister for multicultural affairs. We would expect that he will say it is effective. Okay, so he starts by saying senator is basically a person making the law in the government. So this senator welcomed the report on social cohesion. So there is already a hint of effectiveness with the word welcome that has confirmed that it's an 8-year high. Okay, so it's saying that there is effective harmony. Good is stable and cohesive. Okay, the report also reflected that you should change their behavior. Okay, 68% agreeing we should do more to learn. We should continue to promote blah blah blah. So this is saying it is effective. And the main evidence in this case will be 8-year high. Okay, so let's see how different are sources C and D. Let's start with one similarity first. Okay, in this case, we look at the smiley faces. Okay, so let me get my highlighter. Okay, in this case, the similarity can be, let me see. So she highlights that it is a handful of people. In this case, majority, 68% agreeing, small handful of people. In this case, we can say that the similarity is there is only a small group of people who actually practice racism. Okay, but the difference is probably you can pick this part. In one case, she actually experienced racism, but the source D says that Australia remains a stable and cohesive society. Okay, probably saying that there is no incidence of racism. So this will be the difference.